Hello, this is Barrett from the C4 Cyber Club, and in this video today, we are going to go over the Cisco Network Academy IT Essentials Lab 11.2.6.2, and this is going to be all about using the device manager. So we'll be talking about how to view hardware components that are connected to your computer and how to check information on those, look at updating device drivers and things like that. So as most of you, this is probably going to be your first lab in the CIS 190 class at Cypress. So I thought I would just go through the process of making the lab reservation one more time, just to be sure that you're comfortable with that. So once you log into your NetLab environment, you want to come to New Lab Reservation, Schedule Lab for myself. You'll choose the CIS 190 class, and we will always use the Cisco ITE v7. Click on that. And now you could double check your lab worksheet. And this you download from your NetAcad week 2 module. So I would definitely recommend having this open as you work on the lab, because you'll come to see that we have some questions that you have to complete while working on the lab. So we're looking for lab 11.2.6.2, and these are listed in numerical order. So we will find it right here. We could just go ahead and click on that. This is going to bring us to the pod scheduler. So just another quick overview. You see there's multiple columns here. We have up to pod 4, but you can, if you find that these are taken, you can click this right arrow here. You see we actually have up to 32 pods available. So there could be 32 simultaneous students working on these labs at the same time. So you shouldn't run into an issue where you don't have a pod available. So we want to schedule this lab for right now. So I'm going to click close as possible to this red bar you see across here. And I'll go ahead and choose pod 1. So that pulls up a start time of my current time. And I think 47 minutes is plenty of time for this lab. It's a very quick one to get you started for this semester. But if you did want to increase your length of reservation, you can come to end time here and select a later end time. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And then you will see that you can now enter the lab in your lab reservation. So we'll go ahead and launch that. And then just a reminder that this is essentially spinning up virtual machines, but it is residing on hardware that is on the Cypress campus. So it's each time you make a request, it's powering up these snapshot images of these machines you'll be working with in the labs. Great. So the majority of the labs will be working with PC1, which is running Windows 10. And you'll always be able to verify in these first steps of the lab. It'll say click on PC1. Do that. And we'll want to log into this machine. Okay, so once the machine has booted up here, you can just click anywhere on the back of the desktop. That will pull up the password prompt, and the password for this machine is ITE in all caps and a capital P and then a password. And of course, you could always find the login information within the lab here as well. Okay, so we need to open the device manager. Now this is an app that's also located within the control panel. So there's a couple ways to get to the control panel. Usually when you click on the search bar here, you're going to see it as a top app, because it's a very common collection of applications, system applications. You can also search for it. So if I just type in control, you'll see a best match control panel comes up here. So I'm going to click that. And you see that right now it's broken up by category. You see where it says view by category. So we have system and security, network and internet, hardware and sound, user accounts, and so on. So what the lab wants us to do is change this view by, let's change this to small icons. This gives you a little bit of everything in some of the more popular apps that you can use to change computer settings. So here is the device manager that we're looking for. I can click on that. So that is one way to open device manager. I'm going to show you a couple other tips that are a little quicker. A lot of these apps, you can search for them directly. So if I searched for device manager, you will see that it comes up here. So I could click on that to open it, or my preferred method is just right click on the start button, and you could choose device manager right here. And you'll see there's other very popular system related applications as well. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and open device manager from there. So we're back there, and let's take a look at the lab again. So what is device manager? Very basically, it lists all of the hardware devices that you have installed on your computer. And you could use device manager to view and change the properties of those devices. You could use it to update or install new drivers as well. So see here we have the DVD drives, disk drives, or otherwise known as hard drives, your monitors, your keyboards, mice that are plugged in, printers. It'll show you your processors. If you had a what's called a quad core or 4-core system, you might see 4 processors listed there. So it gives you all of that hardware information about your system. And you see we have, you definitely want to check out the different menus up here. I believe, this is question number 2. It's going to ask you to list the view options here. So your answers are going to be up in this menu here. And in the second part of this lab, we're gonna focus in on an area. We're gonna focus in on monitors. So think of a scenario where you just bought a new monitor and you plugged it in, and maybe it's not displaying properly, and you want to kind of get details. See if the driver needs to be updated, or what's going on with this monitor. So we can look at that in the device manager. And we see here under monitors, we have this generic non-PNP monitor. So PNP stands for plug and play. So we could right click on that and choose properties. So we see, okay, the device is working properly. And essentially that just means, okay, it's connected, but there could still be some issues with the driver, and they may need to be updated. We can click on this driver tab here. We can get driver details. And so what this area tells us is, okay, the location of the drivers. It's on the C drive. It's in the Windows folder, in the System32 subfolder, and then within a drivers subfolder. And the file name is monitor.sys. Tells you the provider, the file version of the driver, the digital signers, Microsoft Windows. Now, let's say we wanted to try and update that driver. So we can click Update Driver here. And it gives us 2 options. We can automatically search for an updated driver, or we can also browse our computer for the driver software. Now, that would be if let's say you downloaded the latest version from the manufacturer's website. So that is often the case to really get your driver up to date and make sure you're running the latest and proper versions, is to download it straight from the manufacturer, and then you could browse to that location of the file. I'm going to hit cancel here. And just to kind of go over these other options too, let's say if we did install a new driver and the device failed, we could choose this rollback driver. And you could see it says here, if the device fails after updating the driver, roll back to the previously installed driver. So it's kind of a fail-safe. If the new driver appears to be bad, you can automatically go back to the previous one. And of course, you can also disable the device from here, and you could even uninstall the device. And that is about it for Device Manager. I told you it'd be a quick lab. Definitely play around. You could take a look on your own system at home and look at all the different hardware devices that you have available. And thanks very much for watching.